Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, being Friday, and as it is on Friday, I do like to read to you. The selection I've chosen for today is the book, The Watsons Go to Birmingham, 1963, written by Christopher Paul Curtis. This is a marvelous book. The interesting thing to know about this book is, to my understanding, and I am subject to be mistaken, this was Mr. Curtis's first major effort out of the box, so to speak. And for it, he received an honor Newbery Award. Now, of course, in children's literature, the Newbery Award is the supreme medal, and what he got was like a runner-up honor award. Interestingly, his second effort out of the box, so in effect, with this book, he hit a triple. But his second book that he wrote, he hit the home run. And the second book, I bet that you know it, and it's called Bud, Not Buddy. Now, I've read both books. Personally, I think this is the most outstanding of the two. This is just a book that I guarantee you, you're going to start out by laughing and splitting your sides open with laughter, and by the end of the book, you will end up in tears. It's fitting that I read this book here in February because February is traditionally Black History Month. It's only by coincidence that I'm reading it, but it is fitting that it comes in February. This is the story of a black family living in Flint, Michigan, who are living in the early 1960s. There's 3 children involved. There's Byron, who is the oldest boy, and he's a boy who's prone to find trouble and get into trouble and hang out with the wrong people. There is Kenny, who essentially is telling the story, and then there's little Joetta, the little sister, and then of course Mom and Dad, and their various pets. The chapter I'm going to read to you is chapter 5. Normally I read, of course, from the first chapter, but in this I'm going to start with chapter 5. And before I get into this chapter, the one question I want to put in your heads is, if you were this boy's mom, what would you do? So having said that, let me begin. Chapter 5. Nazi parachutes attack America and get shot down over the Flint River by Captain Byron Watson and his flamethrower of death. Byron got caught lighting matches again, and it looked like this time Mama was going to do what she always said she would. That's when Joetta turned on the tears and cried and begged so much that Mama let him off. She swore to him, though, that the next time he got caught starting fires, she was going to burn him. She told us that same sad old story about how when she was a little girl, her house caught on fire, and for 2 years after that, she and her brothers had to wear clothes that smelled like smoke. Even though the story made Mama and Joey get all sad and sobby, it was kind of funny to me and Bi. We heard it so many times that Byron even gave it a name. He called it Mama's Smokey the Bear story. I won't have you putting this family in danger. Just once more, Byron Watson. One more time and you're burned. Then, to show Byron how serious she was, Mama raised her right hand and said, I swear with God as my witness. Bi got put on punishment for a month, but even before a week was gone, he started up again. I was up in the bedroom looking at comic books when I heard Byron go into the bathroom and lock the door. I knew something was up, since he only locked the door when he had something to hide. I sneaked to the bathroom door and peeked through the keyhole. Bi was pretending he was making a movie called Nazi Parachutes Attack America and Get Shot Down Over the Flint River by Captain Byron Watson and his flamethrower of death. I could see that he made a bunch of little toilet paper parachutes, and when he yelled, action, he set one of them on fire and dropped it over the toilet. The guy in the Nazi parachute screamed as he floated down in flames and landed in the water with a loud hiss. Before the parachutist was dead, Bi would flush the toilet and the Nazi would go down the drain going clunk. When the water was swirling him away, Byron said the only Nazi talk that he knew. "You held mein Führer off with the same." Peeking through the keyhole, I could see Byron salute to the parachute when he flushed the toilet. "Such a brave soldier deserves our respect," he said, "so we give him a burial at sea." The toilet stopped glugging, and Byron said, "Not bad, but let's have a little more screaming on the way down. And how about having the flamethrower of death turn up a little bit?" He picked up another toilet paper parachute, lit 2 matches at the same time, set the parachute on fire, yelled, "Take 2," and set the next Nazi screaming into the toilet. Byron was on take 7 when Mama finally wondered why the toilet was being flushed so much and came upstairs to see what was going on. The whole upstairs smelled like a giant match, and she knew something was fishy even before she got to the top step. She moved so quick and quiet that I still had my eyeball on the keyhole when she stepped into the hallway. I looked up and saw she was there. "Mama, I knew I was going to get it for not turning Byron in, but before I could say anything else, Mama pushed me out of the way, hit the bathroom door with her shoulder like Elliot Ness, that cop on that Untouchables TV show. The door jumped out of her way and banged into the bathtub. Byron turned around and screamed. Nazi number 7 hit the water with a hiss. Byron threw his hands up in the air and said, "Mama, Mama snatched Byron's neck, and stopping just to pick up the matches that Byron had dropped, she dragged him all the way down the stairs. I could see that Mama had forgotten all about me, so I followed right behind. As they went down, By's feet touched the steps only 1 or 2 times. He looked like one of those ballerinas that dance just on the tips of their toes. Mama had her hand around his throat like it was a baseball bat and was holding him up in the air. I never knew Mama was so strong. They danced into the living room and Joey started looking nervous. She ran over and huddled up next to me. Mama's eyes got slitty with the eyeballs shooting around side to side. It was almost too scary to watch, but I kept looking since I knew there was going to be some real big action this time. Joey grabbed a hold of my arm and said, "What's going on? What'd he do?" She was starting to get jumpy because she'd never seen Mama so mad either. I felt kind of sorry for Byron because Mama hadn't let go of his neck, and even though he was a lot older, we could tell he was just as scared as me and Joetta. He kept pretending he was daddy cool, though, and the only way you could tell he was scared to death was by looking at his eyes. Mama kept her hand on Byron's neck and pushed him down on the couch and stood right in front of him. She opened the hand that hadn't been choking him and looked at the matches she picked up off the bathroom floor. While one hand had been strangling Byron, the other hand had been strangling the matches. The matches were soaking wet because whenever Mama got scared or nervous or mad, her hands got real sweaty and disgusting. Mama's voice got strange, hissing like a snake. "Joetta, go out to the kitchen and bring me a book of matches." "Mommy," Joey said, starting to get all sobby. "Joetta, do what I told you." "Mommy, I can't." The tears really started coming and Joey was squeezing my arm. "Joetta, go get those matches." "Please, Mommy, he won't do it again. Will you? Promise, Mommy, you won't do it again." "Kenneth," she turned to me then, "go get some matches." This is what I was afraid of. If I didn't go get the matches, I was going to be in worse trouble than I already was with Mama. And if I did go get the matches, I knew Byron would kill me as soon as he got back from the hospital. "Mama, Move, young man." "Mama, wait a minute, I can't move. Joey's got me by the arm, and if I move..." Mama pointed her finger at Byron and said, "Don't you move a muscle." We could all tell Mama was super mad. She started talking in that real Southern style accent. Byron nodded his head and Mama let go of his throat and stormed into the kitchen. Old Mr. Cool still had great big bug eyes, and as soon as Mama's hand left his neck, his own hands came up and started choking him themselves.